for you, Tabs, like what was the highlight of being in Europe for you?
I think the most fun I had was actually doing a cooking class in Italy.
Wow.
Because when else do you get to experience such a thing? Like, it's known for its food. You get to learn from the locals how they cook their food. You get food with it. It's a full activity. You meet other people that are also traveling. That was probably the most fun experience. And I think if you are visiting a place that's known for its food like France, do a cooking class.
That is such a great idea because that's something I could do with Mum too.
Yes, definitely.
And she definitely needs help with it. I'm sorry, I need help too. We all need help with cooking.
It will inspire you. You'll come home a new person and you'll all of a sudden get really into cooking and buy all of these recipe books and you'll be a different person.
What about packing? Like, in terms of, I'm trying to decide right now whether I should take like a backpacker's backpack or just like a trundler wheelie suitcase, and I can't make my mind up. So what would your tip be around that?
Yeah. This one, I was pretty convinced that a backpack would be the better option before I left because I knew I was going to places with different sorts of roads and lots of cobblestones. But honestly, if I was to do it again, I probably would bring my suitcase, which surprised me. But that's only because most of the places I went to, there was only a short period of time where having a backpack was helpful. But most of the time I would have preferred to actually be wheeling it. My friend with me, she had one where you could wheel, but you could also put it on as a backpack. And it wasn't the most comfortable backpack, but it was there when you needed it, and then you didn't have to wear it most of the time. And I think that might actually be the better option, unless you're
like the sound of that.
Unless you're going to do a lot of walking on like really rough road. Then I think a suitcase is all you need. I think the one thing to be careful of, though, is there are some places in Europe where you can actually get fined if you're lugging around a suitcase and it's really noisy. You know, when you're wheeling a suitcase and the wheels make a lot of noise, there are some places where they hate that and you actually will pay a price. So maybe just research into France because I haven't been to France and I don't know what their rules are there.
Now I'm on an adventure to try and find the dream suitcase backpack combo.
Yeah.
It sounds hard, but I'm going to hope for the best. Okay, what not to bring with me on a 5-week trip?
I think you gotta get really honest with yourself about what sort of shoes you like to wear because you're not going to want anything that you wouldn't want to wear. Sometimes when we go traveling, we get a whole new wardrobe because we think that this is what we want to wear overseas. But you know yourself, you're probably going to do a lot of walking. So bring the kind of shoes that are really comfortable to do a lot of walking in, but also you like the way they look in the outfits that you're going to wear when you're doing a lot of walking.
It's a tricky one. I want to know what I need to bring, but particularly when it comes to money, because back in the day, I went to Europe and lived in London for a couple of years, about 15 years ago. It was a while ago now. Everywhere I went, I had like a wad of like either euros or like pounds on me, and I was like, oh, make sure you don't lose the wad of cash. Is it still like that now?
No, definitely not. It's very, very different. That sounds very stressful. What I did and what most people I know did is you can get international travel cards. I used the Wise card, and there you can load money onto it. You can either do a bank transfer or you can do Apple Pay, which has like a slight fee, but it's basically like PayWave. And you can put however much money you want on there, and then you can transfer it to different currencies. Wow. So that you don't have any fees when you're paying overseas. And it works pretty much everywhere. The only place I had an issue with it was when I was trying to catch the train in Chicago. But that's because America is very different with their money cards. But even then, everywhere else where I paid in Chicago, it all worked. So I would recommend getting a travel card. If you bank transfer, there's no fees. But if you're in a bit of a pickle and you all of a sudden need to add on another $100, you can do that instantly. If you have data, it's great.
Okay, so you don't need to carry cash at all anymore?
Well, so when I was in the UK, I did not need any cash whatsoever. Even the public toilets, you could just PayWave. Yes, you have to pay for public toilets, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'd forgotten about that. You see, that was quite a surprise going through Europe. They're like, oh, if you want to use the facility, cough up. And you're like, pardon?
Yeah. It's not expensive, though, it's not nothing. In London, nothing was over £1. And in Europe, nothing was over €1.
Okay, but that's like $2 New Zealand dollars or $3 New Zealand dollars.
Yeah, but you
So
don't-
if you need to go
don't think
3
about it
times
too
a day
much.
or more, it starts to add up. You don't want to have a tummy bug.
Make the most of the free toilets when you buy a meal.
Can you do that without buying anything at the place? Don't try that.
Don't even try. And they'll probably have a lock on
Really?
the doors. Yeah.
These are things in New Zealand that we just take for granted.
Yeah, I know.
Free public toilets.
It's brilliant. Yeah, but a lot of public toilets, depending on how central you are, might impact whether you can use a card or whether you need cash. But I would always have at least €20 on me in cash so that I could pay for the public toilet or I could pay for random things that I needed cash for. But most of the time, my card was fine.
That's good to know. And in terms of security, like pretty safe, secure to have like a Wise card, for example?
Yeah, I hope so.
You're like, I haven't actually checked. Maybe there was money siphoning out of my account the whole time and I didn't even know. Okay.
Use at your own risk. I wouldn't transfer all of your travel money at once. I would do little lots. I would keep track of how much you're spending. I'd figure out how much you want to spend every day and then always be like a day or two ahead in your account and just transfer every so often.